everybody. It's Dr. Cindy with the Positively Altered podcast. Do you think that just comedians work happy? Well, it's not just in that space. You can too. And it's really important. My next guest is on a mission to get 1 million people working happy. And I'm on a mission to help him double that. So let's take a quick break and listen to our sponsors. And we are going to be right back with today's guest.
Hello, my name is Heather Lord, and I am the COO of Professional Health Products. Cutting corners is an all too common practice in the dietary supplement industry. When my father founded Professional Health Products, he sourced the cleanest, most biologically active ingredients from around the globe. Today, that commitment remains, which is why the finest healthcare practitioners, like Dr. Cindy, have trusted us for more than 40 years. We oversee the entire process in our manufacturing facility, from sourcing and formulation to manufacturing and labeling. Today, we offer over 300 unique products that can be tailored to the nutritional and homeopathic needs of each individual. Most recently, we launched a proprietary genetic test, allowing our practitioners to get even more dialed in to their patients' health. To learn more about Professional Health Products, please talk to your practitioner or visit our website at phpltd.com.
Today, your life is going to be altered. I'm Dr. Cindy.
Welcome to Infinity. We have worked hard to create an electronic claims website that is simple and user-friendly. This is the public side. You can log into your personal web portal here. This is your dashboard. You can personalize it to your liking here. Our main focus has been to allow you to submit and edit claims as easy as possible. You will find our claims editor and claims processing is simple to use and straightforward. Our quick action bar is where you can find your most important information. Most of these icons will take you directly to the claims the number represents. You can easily view if you have any messages in your inbox of any unread alerts by looking for these blue numbers. To view the rest of our training videos to get the most of your Infinity experience, click this icon. We hope you find this web portal simple and easy to use. Thanks for letting us serve you.
I'm Dr. Cindy. Who wouldn't want to join me for the Positively Altered podcast? We are back. Thank you so much for taking a listen to our sponsors. As you know, they are super important to us. But we are back at the Positively Altered podcast with the most amazing and happiest human being on the face of the planet, Greg Kettner. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Cindy. Thanks for having me. It's good to see you again.
Oh my gosh, it's awesome to see you. So I'm really not joking. Like, you're happy, right?
Yeah, most of not 100% of the time. I am human.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But one of the big things that's really important to you is about working happy. I would almost love to change that to just being happy, right? Like happiness. Okay. I want to talk about this. What is that? Because everybody is looking for happiness, right? I think we're on this quest in life for happiness. And sometimes it seems really, really unobtainable. So define this mission of WorkHappy and what that really means for everybody.
Well, I kind of liken it. Most of us have had jobs before if we're listening to the podcast. And there's always that first day of the job or the job that you've always wanted. You finally got it. You walked in. Everybody loved you. Everybody was great. Everybody helped you, answered all your questions. And for the first couple months, it was euphoric going into work. And then we get stuck with having to do this and do that and do extras. And that kind of goes away. And I think we need to get back to that, especially in the age of AI, social media. We're not connecting, and we're humans, right? And you and I have had many conversations about happiness. And I, for one, grew up going, well, if I get married and I have the house and the white picket fence and kids and a job and I make it $100,000, I'm going to be happy. But over the years, I found out that only I can make myself happy. And it's a subtle mind switch, but it's amazing when you go, oh, okay, well, only I can make myself happy, which sounds weird and counterintuitive. But if I'm having a bad day, I reach out, I serve other people because I'm like, I'm not having a good day. What makes me happy? serving other people or telling a joke or making someone smile or buying someone a coffee. That's what makes me happy. Not that I have enough money to buy someone a coffee, or not that because I used to do stand-up comedy, I can tell a joke. It's what it gives to me. And that's what I'm trying to teach other people, is that happiness comes from within. True happiness does.
Okay, so I'm already confused, Greg, in this whole statement, because you said that you reach out and buy people coffee, and yet one of your claim to fame is, and you don't have to tell everybody how old you are, but you have never consumed a cup of coffee in your entire life. Is that still true?
That is true.
Why
I know
not?
it's weird.
Why not?
I don't know. I grew up, I never liked hot drinks. And then I tried one, and maybe it was a 7-Eleven coffee, so I started off at the bottom.
Uh-oh, I hope nobody owns a 7-Eleven out there listening. So sorry.
We just lost a sponsor.
Right.
But I mean, my wife drinks coffee, my daughter drinks coffee, and I just don't. But I guess it's, hey, let's go for a coffee. So, when I ask people either on Zoom or in town, hey, let's go for a coffee, I'm like, well, you don't drink coffee. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what we say. But hey, you want to get together for a cup of water?
You're right. It does have a different ring. I usually will say tea or coffee because I'm not a coffee drinker either, but I will have a cup of tea. That I will do. But I'm like you. I would reach for the water probably more times than not. But you're right. And you know what? The restaurants don't love it if you walk in and ask for a water cup and you purchase nothing else.
Especially if you're there for an hour having a meeting and doing business and like, well, I guess you're getting the free water again.
Right. No doubt. Okay. Let's go back to your childhood. I'm going to play therapist now for a minute. You ready?
Oh, boy. Okay.
Let's go back to your childhood because you spent a lot of time in Hong Kong.
Yeah. I born and raised. My dad was a missionary doctor.
Okay.
And so he got out of med school. He went and did his internship up in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where my brother was born. And then they had this idea with all the school debt to take 6 years and go serve another country in a foreign land. So we moved, or they moved. I wasn't around yet. But he learned how to speak Cantonese, and he was a doctor in Hong Kong for 6 years, serving that city and that community. And so I lived there until I was 6. Unfortunately, I never picked up on the language because we lived in the hospital. But I think that's where my heart for service, I know that's where my heart of service has come from, was from my parents. They were always about giving back and doing what I do now. I've had great jobs, but I've never been fulfilled as much as I am now when I get to meet people like you, and you know how it is, Cindy, when you walk off a stage and a point resonates with somebody and someone comes up to me and says, you know what, I'm going to try therapy for the first time because you go, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And it's just so rewarding to have those kind of conversations with or without a cup of coffee.
No, that's fair. So you're very funny, Greg. When did the recognition, if you will, that you could make people laugh, when did you discover that, and how did that lead you into really comedy before even the speaking?
I don't know. I've never been asked that question. I think it was probably early on. I was a middle child, and I don't know. I just always kind of felt like I didn't quite fit in. I remember asking my mom when I was about 15 if I was adopted, and she's like, "Why?" And I go, "Well, because I have red hair and I don't seem to fit in." And she started to cry, and I'm like, "I'm sorry. It was just a question." And then later on, when I was doing stand up, I would tell the story, and I said a couple of weeks later, Dad came up to me and said, "Hey, I heard you asked Mom if you were adopted, and I just want to say thank you because I had the same question." But it was early on, and I remember vividly in school getting in trouble. I got strapped once with a leather belt on my hands for making kids laugh in school. That's
really?
How old I am.
Really? Yeah. Now that teacher would be fired and banned and arrested, and right, probably banished from the entire free world for disciplining a child that way. But
that's why I got in trouble was for making other people laugh.
And isn't that interesting? So all of a sudden, laughter became a bad consequence.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know that a lot of us that speak in this space and have a message to share, a lot of it not only comes from a desire to help, but also a personal story. Is there a personal story for you that's the impetus for all of the work that you do?
Yeah. It didn't start out with the story that I'm going to share, but it's kind of morphed into it, and it's my passion, and I'm on a mission to help 1 million people talk about mental health in the workplace. I got married later on in life. I was 44, and a year after we got married, my stepdaughter lost her dad to suicide. And as a male at 45, I didn't know how to talk about it. I didn't know what to say, nor why would I talk about mental health? I mean, I'm a dude, right? I mean, I love my parents, and they did a great job at raising us kids. But we were taught to suck it up, boys don't cry, that kind of mentality. But now we know personally and through science that that's not the way to do it. And so when Becky woke me up at 2:08 on a Monday morning and said, we need to talk, I had no idea what was about to hit us. And she told me that he passed by suicide. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to react. And I didn't know how to support, Becky and Rachel. I'd had friends who'd passed away by suicide growing up, but it was more of, okay, that happened, move on, right? Grieve with the people, move on. And so we all started going to therapy because we didn't know what to do. And, if I'm sick, I go to a doctor. I don't know much about appendicitis or, how to replace a tooth. You go to a dentist, right? And so I started reaching out to people. There's a local organization here in our community called Reach Out Walla Walla for people who are left behind, how to deal with it, and how to have conversations about mental health when they're small, right? If I'm having a fight with my partner or things aren't going well with my finances or my kids, those are all stresses. And if we let them build up, that's when it gets to be a real problem. And so going through that experience with Rachel and Becky and kind of being there for them when they need to lead in, I learned that it's okay to talk about such things. I learned that it's okay to go to therapy. I'm not weird. I'm not damaged. I'm not broken because I'm going to therapy. There's something in my life. I don't know how to deal with this. I want someone, an expert opinion, to help me. And so that's the message I share from the stage, is that we need to talk a lot more. We need to ask each other how we're really doing. And,
No, this is awesome. Do you think in the workspace, there's a difference between the male and female population in terms of the ability to ask for help and reach out, or are we all struggle? I mean, I know we all struggle, but you made an interesting comment about, boys don't cry, right? And they do. They do. Yeah. They just don't want anybody to see it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think the stigma is still there, that it's harder for men, especially in the workspace, to ask for help than women?
Yeah, I think so. But overall, and women do, I think, just naturally do a better job at having conversations with their gal pals or whatnot, right? Hey, this is going on. What would you do? Whereas guys, we want to know what the sports score was or what your favorite beer is, kind of thing. But Lyra Health did a recent survey, and still 8 out of 10 people won't go and talk to their manager or to HR if they are struggling with their mental health, right? You may have an employee assistance program where you have free counseling, but because of the shame and the guilt, and this was in 2025, people still won't put their hand up and say, hey, I need help. And so that's the message. I'm a can opener. I'm not a therapist. I'm not the person you go to. I am happy to share with anybody, and I do this on podcasts from the stage, of what our family has done, what worked for me. But I don't have the experience to be a therapist. But I have the ability to have a conversation and connect with somebody to where they say, you know what? Okay, I'm in. I'm going to go try it. I was speaking back in November, and afterwards a guy came up to me and said, hey, thank you for having us do that share a gratitude text. I started texting with my wife, so I missed the last half of your talk. And I said, well, any questions? He goes, no, I just want to let you know that my wife has been bugging me for the last 10 years to go to therapy. Mm-hmm. And I told her today that I'm going to go because this skinny John Goodman goes and he says it works. And so I gave him a big hug. And I was like, that's awesome. That totally made my day. And he goes, yeah, the only problem is I think today my wife loves you a little bit more than me. I'm like, well, fair is fair. But here's a guy out of 500 people that I don't even know his name, but he had the courage to come up and talk to a stranger because I shared a story. And right. That's what makes me happy, and that's what's powerful when we do that with people. I mean, we've had conversations about mental health, about marriages, about kids and everything. Mm-hmm. And when you open up and have an honest, heartfelt, meaningful conversation, and you realize that we're not alone. And I think that's a really big part of it, right? Just knowing that I'm not the only one that's dealing with life.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've been on this planet almost 6 decades, and I have yet to meet a single human being that has their entire act together, right? That's nailed parenting and relationships and work balance and all of those things. I mean, there's nobody, right, that gets this right 100% of the time. So it's interesting to me that we operate in the space of fear and insecurity to admit that there are days we just don't get it right, or we don't even know how to do it, right? It's not even that we get it wrong and we acknowledge it and try better. I want to dive down this comedy pathway a little bit with you, because I find comedy really fascinating. And in my next life, I want to come back as a comedian, because I think that I do. I actually think that would be super fun.
I want to do the same.
Do you? So you've done it, you finished somewhere else, and you're going to come back and do it all over again? Is that how that's?
I'll do it better. I'll actually try this time.
Oh, see, I don't know. I'm going to tell everybody off record, and we can talk about this, because you shared a stage with Robin Williams. I asked you if you were funnier than Robin, and you actually answered yes. And I love that confidence, right? I love, because to some people you probably are funnier, right? I mean, it's all perspective and opinion. But one of the things I find really fascinating about the comedians that I feel, not all of them, but some of them where they really just resonate with me, it's the self-deprecating humor. It's the ability to make fun of ourselves, right? Yeah. Because usually what we're making fun of, other people also experience. It's not that weird. And that lowers that veil, right? That wall that people have to say, it really is sometimes funny, the things that we go through or say or do. And I think it takes away some of the stress. I would love to just get your opinion on that, like through comedy and how you still use it in your presentations and why it's really so important that, we do some of this.
Comedy, like you said, is very subjective. Some people like Brian Regan are very clean. Mark Normand is offsides. Bill Burr is angry. But Robin Williams is just a space cadet at times, right? And so there's a different flavor for everybody. And I think it's just a lot of humor comes from pain. I know mine did. When I started out, it was like, why can't I get a girlfriend? Why am I overweight, right? And I used to have this, I would start out my sets by saying, you know what, I'll let you know I'm trying to lose weight. I used to weigh 8 pounds, 6 ounces. Look at me. Right? I mean, and everybody in the room can relate to that, because time I checked, there was no babies at a comedy show. But it's self-deprecating, but it does come from pain. And I've always thought, if I'd had a worse childhood or lost an arm or something, right, I might have been funnier. But I think comedy is more needed now, just because when we do laugh, when we take that break or that breath, our insides and the dopamine rush that we get, it reduces the stress. It gives us those happy endorphins, and we just need time to laugh, whether it's at ourselves or something that's obscured, like a silly dad joke, right? Whatever floats your boat, if we take time, that not only makes us happier, but it makes us healthier. It makes us more attractive. It makes us better leaders. It makes us more money. It makes us more productive, and we're just nicer to be around.
Yeah. It's interesting, though. I do think that there's also a fine line, and I'll share with you just a personal thought as you were talking that I have, because I like to think that I'm funny on occasion. Actually, I just did a keynote and I was talking about the turkey neck that I'm starting to develop, as I get older, right? And, I mean, what woman is going to point out her turkey neck to other women? We just don't typically do that. But, it's part of life, right? It's part of the changes that we go through. I wonder how much, though, where we need to watch out for the people in humor that use it as a protective mechanism. And here's what I mean by that. I love to be funny. I stand up, I give a speech, a presentation, and I crack a joke here or there. And it's very rewarding for me, right? Even though there's some self-deprecation in that. But I also know that there have been times that I've been in social situations in which I'm uncomfortable. Maybe it's a group of people I don't really know, or I just didn't really want to be there, or for some reason I feel this dichotomy of diversity in whatever that self-perpetuated level is, right, that we create of, right, in a room. And I know there have been times that I purposely turn it on and try to be funny just to get the attention to make me feel more comfortable in a room. And that to me screams more help, right, than entertainment. So how do we help recognize, and I'm okay, by the way, I have my own therapists and I've been through it, like I've done the work, and there's still moments of that, right, in rooms where you're looking for attention, and I don't mind admitting that. But how do we watch for people that we really think might be in some serious trouble that might not even realize that that's the reason they use those defense mechanisms?
Yeah, well, humor is a great defense mechanism for when we're in pain, and I know that because I've been there and done that. A couple of things. I was working with Norm Macdonald from Saturday Night Live one weekend, and I was just asking him about what's offsides, what's not offsides, because he can be very cerebral and dark, but yet funny. And he said, Greg, over the years I've done this, I've learned never to punch up or punch down, right? Punch sideways, kind of, hit people with what you're not going to make fun of their sex or their race or their money or the way they look. Make fun of, your kid not calling you until they run out of gas and they need money. Life stuff that happens to all of us, and it doesn't necessarily affect us, but we've been in that situation. And I, for one, used to do stand-up comedy because I needed the laughs, and I thought that would make me happy. And then that weekend I got to work with Robin Williams. He told me he said, Greg, keep making people laugh because you'll never know the difference you'll make in their lives by just giving them the opportunity to laugh. And my comedy switched that night and going forward. When I would get on stage, I wanted to give people the opportunity to laugh instead of getting the laughs. And again, it's a very subtle switch, but I was going on stage going, hey, look at me. I'm funny. If you laugh at me, I'm going to feel better. But now when I go on stage, obviously I still do stand up and I use humor in my keynote as well too. But now I go on stage and like, how can I give a person an opportunity to laugh or to learn or give them just one nugget so that when they are feeling down, they have the courage to reach out and say, hey, I'm having a really terrible day. I need someone to talk to. Or, I encourage people to take a 5-minute laughter break during the day. If you're sitting at your computer, like a lot of us are, after 45 minutes, our brain just kind of tilts off. But if you go to YouTube and watch funny cat videos or trucks driving into bridges or whatever floats your boat for 5 minutes, you're much more productive, you're much more creative, and you're in a better mood, and people don't mind being around you as much.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I talk a lot about what we call the 5-to-1 positivity ratio, meaning for every negative interaction, you need 5 positive interactions to overcome the one negative. Yep. And I love the idea of humor being at least one of the 5.
Exactly, right?
Right, to bring that in. And we don't spend enough time laughing and enjoying, and we're so purpose driven, I think, in our environment in the workspace now to just accomplish. And there's a lot of burnout from that.
Yeah. And the burnout is from stress, but over time, right? I mean, you probably have a busy day. You're recording a bunch of podcasts and it's on schedule and blah, blah, blah. But if you didn't take a break for 3 weeks, you'd be like, why am I doing this? That's right. The burnout, right? So it's recognizing that when we have the stress and what works for you, right? For you, it might be gardening. For me, it might be golf. For someone else, it might be reading a book. Or, go playing with their grandkids, whatever that is. But if you know what makes you happy, resets your brain, then you're good to go again.
Greg, in my world, it will never be golf. I think it's the dumbest sport on the face of the planet. And I play it.
I play it to practice my swearing.
Is it? Okay. So maybe, I'll invite you. So I when I'm really wealthy, and I don't know what that number looks like because I'm still shooting for that, but I want to have enough money that I actually design and open my own golf course. You ready for this? It's going to be a par 7, 8, and 9 because I want to be really good at golf.
So 160 is going to win around.
I mean, most people can't shoot par, right? Like it's this thing we're constantly striving for. And even if you get par one day because you happen to be a scratch golfer, the next day you can't do it again. So it's 7, 8, or 9. I think it's very obtainable. And then if you shoot a, 72, great. You can win all of the tournaments. But, if you shoot 150, you're still in there. Like, you're still going to win the sleeve of golf balls, at the end of the round.
Yeah. But here's a thought. If you change your mindset and going, I don't care who wins. I'm going to have fun with my friends. I don't care about the 3 golf balls. How much fun am I going to have with 3 of my friends for 4 hours? How much business am I going to connect with? Yeah. So it's just, it can be as simple as that. And when people are like, oh, I'm not very happy. Well, change your mindset. Yeah. Change your goal. Instead of winning, maybe it's time with your friends. Or, what's another example? Like my lawn, I hate mowing my lawn, but now I know when I do mow it, it looks better, I feel better, and my wife's happy.
I love that. And I can't afford the golf course right now. So I'm going to take your advice. I will tell you, so I play in a ladies league on Thursday evenings. And one of my dear friends, when we're not playing very well, always pulls out the penis putter. And it is shaped like a penis. And we putt with it. And we get a really good laugh because, if we're not scoring so well, it doesn't really matter at that point. So we do find ways to enjoy what I call the most ridiculous game on the planet. But, again, it's about the camaraderie and the friendship.
Right? Absolutely. You're smiling now, but you're not smiling about your golf score. It's all about the penis putter.
It's all about the penis putter, Greg. All about it.
And Mom, if you're listening, sorry about that.
Yes. Well, yeah, I was going to say everybody who knows me is not surprised because, there's always something that comes out of my mouth that should require a filter. So if I ever get the gig as the stand-up comedian, Greg, I would be the no filter girl, right? Like if I think it, I say it. If it's inappropriate, it comes out of my mouth.
Well, we'll go on tour. We have fun.
Oh, listen, and if you don't want to listen, not everybody can be a Nate. I always screw up his name. Nate Bargatze. Did I say that right?
Bargatze, yeah.
Bargatze. And I love him. I think he's absolutely hilarious, but there's never anything dirty or inappropriate out of his mouth.
Yeah.
At least on stage. I don't know what he's like, personally.
Funny story. My wife when we were dating, she took me to see Brian Regan because I was a big fan. And I knew the guy who used to book comedians for David Letterman through comedy. And so when she told me I had tickets, I called Eddie Brill up and said, hey, is there a way we can get a meet and greet? And he called me back 20 minutes later. He goes, yeah, already talked to Brian. You're good to go. Just be there an hour early. So we got backstage and I'm talking to Brian Regan. I was like, man, I wish, I said I've been doing this for about 7 years and here's the level I'm at. And all of a sudden I heard Greg Kettner and my buddy walked out. He was the opener for him. Kermit Appeal. And so it's Becky and I, Brian Regan, and my good buddy Kermit, and we're having a conversation. And Brian's like, I said, I admire the fact that you can be so funny and not swear. And he's like, oh, Greg, I wish I could fucking swear, man. He goes, but I built my career off of being clean. And, I'm going to lose half my audience if I did. But he said that's just the route that he took, and it works for him. But in my career, I only did it for 8 years, but the first 5 years was blue, dirty offsides. And then the last 3 years were more about life and meeting someone and dating long distance, and, it changes. So there's humor wherever you look for it. It's just what do you want to be funny?
No, it's so true. So you mentioned sometimes when you're having a bad day, you reach out to a friend. Are there any other tools that we can share with people that are just really good, simple things to do when the day just kind of seems to be low?
Yeah, absolutely. 3 of the things that I use when my days go sideways. And I start my days with this. I get up, I go to the gym, I meditate for 20 minutes, and I do breathing exercises. And I never thought to do breathing exercises until I got into this. But even if you do box breathing, which is breathe in for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and hold your breath again for 4 seconds. But if you do that 4 or 5 times, it lowers stress, our nervous system, our blood pressure goes down. And the goal, at least for me through meditation and breathing, is just not to think of anything, not to think of what do I have to do today? What are my appointments? What am I doing? So there's breathing, there's meditation, there's reading, there's calling a friend. You can reach out and text somebody and say, hey, thank you for being a part of my life. I really appreciate you. All those kinds of little tiny things that anybody can do at their desk within a couple minutes. You can do the breathing exercise without anybody noticing. And if you're brave enough, do it. And if people ask, why are you sitting there breathing? This is why, right? All this sounds really simple and trivial, but it makes a huge effect. And there's days when halfway through the day, something doesn't go right, a deal goes sideways, or something happens at home or wherever. I know what I need to do to get back on it. It doesn't mean that every day is going to be a work happy day, but I know now how to restart my day.
I love this. Now, assuming we're all going to take the steps to do this, I also think it's really important to address the people out there that are running the organizations, the leaders, right, in these spaces. What can we, as owners of our own practices and companies, CEOs, head of HR, wherever we are in a leadership role, what can we do to make our environment safer, easier for the people who participate, right, who trust us as that leader, to make them feel comfortable? Are there some simple things you encourage work environments to do?
I encourage all leaders and anybody. I don't think you have to have a title of leader to be a leader, but take care of yourself first. I tell people we need to be more selfish, right? Because if I didn't take care of myself this morning, I'm not prepared for this podcast. I'm not there to serve my wife. I'm not there to serve my community. So take care of yourself first, but also put more of an emphasis on people over profits. I think if we put people first, give them the tools that they need to have their job done well, then the profits follow. And I've had some really great leaders, and I've had some not so great leaders, but the bosses that I still keep in contact with, still look up to, were the ones who were more interested in me versus how many phone calls did you make today, Greg? How many deals did you close? What's your pipeline like? And I think if we take the extra time to walk by somebody and say, hey, how are you really doing? Not just like, hey, Bob, good to see you again, right? Take time and ask him, how's your dog doing? I heard he was sick, right? It doesn't take money. It takes a little bit extra time. But when we reach out and we have those connections, especially and today we're all on the screen, all three of us on the screen. We probably have our phones buzzing. We've got emails that we got to, but if we get off and we have a real conversation, and, it's just asking people what they need, because I think as leaders, we assume, well, they want a raise, they want a better title, whatnot. But it might be, I was working with a client, and he asked me, he said, hey, I have this really great groundskeeper, and all of a sudden he does his job well. He's always there at 8:00, and all of a sudden he's a half hour, 45 minutes late. I don't know what to do. I don't want to fire him because he's really good, but it's just really frustrating. I said, well, have you asked him what happened? And he's like, no. And I said, take him out for a cup of coffee and just said, hey, I want to thank you for all the great work you do. And just ask him, hey, I noticed you've been coming in late. Well, it turns out that the guy had a kid, and he was living with his girlfriend. They broke up, and it was the girl who would get the kid ready and take him to school, because he had to start at 8. She didn't have to be at 9. So for the last 3 years, she was taking the kid to school. When they broke up, here's a single dad now having to figure out how to get a kid to school, where the kid's school is, all this. And he was, being a half hour late. And so Tom said to him, he said, well, how about we do this? Why don't we switch your hours? Does 9 to 5 work for you? And he goes, oh yeah, because he's in after school care till 5. So Tom thought, well, maybe I should fire this guy. But then he asked what was going on, and it was legitimate concern. And the guy's like, oh, thanks so much, man. That's so much easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's asking the question why, and just, I do it too. I think I just assume too much.
Yeah. And I think you hit something really important on the head there. And it goes both ways, right? We're afraid to ask for what we want and need because we're afraid of the rejection. And then we don't ask others what they want and need so that we can meet those needs when we care enough about them to do that. And that assumption is a very dangerous space that we live in, because we usually get it wrong. We get it wrong in relationships and work environments, right? Parent, child, the whole 9 yards. And it's such an easy way, and just because you ask doesn't mean you have to do it. I mean, that guy could have made a decision that the job really needed to start earlier, right? And it wasn't going to work. But what a great simple example of how we can do better.
And he also said, he goes, made total sense. He goes, I got 2 of my own. I'm a single dad. I know what that's like. But I didn't think to ask him a question. Hey, things have changed, right? And if we're not connected in this day and age, we're not going to know. And that's where we get into trouble.
I love it. All right, Greg, what's next? So from Hong Kong to comedian to keynote speaker, do you go to the movies to watch Star Wars? Because you also told me you've never done that. Or what's next? What's in the future? Where are we going to find the Greg Kettner next?
At your place of business, if you want someone to come help you out with happiness or mental health. I'm back on the road. It is speaker season. But I'm also doing workshops as well, too, which I'm really enjoying because instead of being in front of 400 people and being the focus of attention, which kind of makes me feel good. But when I'm in a workshop with 30 or 40 leaders and and you see the light bulbs go off and you see them doing the work, you see them asking the questions, you see them connecting. So yeah, either on a stage or in a workshop. And then I recorded a TV series. Oh, well, it's just one episode about happiness and how to talk about mental health, and that should be coming out in a couple months as well too. So anything I can do to help people, and like I said, I'm an open book. I'm happy to have conversations with people if this topic is relevant to them. I don't give advice because I'm not a therapist. I'm just a regular guy who's gone through life and is still trying to figure out how to do that. And I'm game for helping the next person.
Well, Greg, I don't think there's anything regular about you. I think you're absolutely outstanding. And I don't know what your number is getting closer to the million, but you can add me as one more number in your list, getting closer to
Perfect.
1 million people working happy. Greg, we have to take a commercial break so that we can say thank you to some sponsors, but I want to come back and ask you some questions for fun. Are you up for that?
Perfect.
Great. Hang tight. We are going to be right back with the Positively Altered podcast. This is your weekly dose of Dr. Cindy, the Positively Altered podcast. Stop, hit that follow button now and spread the love with Positively Altered. We are back. I am Dr. Cindy. This is the Positively Altered podcast, and we have Greg Kettner, the funny, the happy Greg Kettner. We're going to do some rapid fire questions. You ready, my friends?
I'm ready. Let's
All right.
go.
What is one place on earth you've never been that you would love to visit?
Alaska.
Ooh.
Just the mountains, snow. Yeah. And I watched a lot of Below. So.
I've been once. I'm going again. You should come with me. I'm going to
Okay.
speak. You should come.
Right.
Hang out. All right. I'll give you
Wait,
dates.
are you speaking or?
I'm speaking.
Okay.
No. Vacation? Who takes? Oh, no. I vacation. But no, I'm actually working. But it's beautiful. So make sure you cross that one off your list. That I can speak to. All right. Number 2. What is your biggest guilty pleasure?
Vanilla ice cream on a waffle cone.
Okay.
I know that sounds stupid, but I'm practical. I'm plain Jane kind of guy. My parents used to take us to 31 flavors when we go on trips, and I would get vanilla ice cream out of 31 flavors.
Are you a sprinkle guy or just plain vanilla?
Plain vanilla.
Plain vanilla. Fair enough. What is the weirdest food combo then that you eat? Or is that it?
No, that's not the weirdest food combo. Growing up in Hong Kong, my brother was a huge fan of ketchup. And in Hong Kong, there's a lot of rice. And so I would eat rice with soy sauce and cooked vegetables and stuff. But he tried to convince me that steamed rice and ketchup would be an excellent combination. And he was wrong. It does not taste good at all.
I would agree with that statement. I would think he's wrong too.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Some people really do put ketchup on everything.
Yep.
See, and right. Coming from Chicago, I have a problem because if anybody tells me they put ketchup on a hot dog, that's like a cardinal sin here in Chicago. It's never.
Oh, really?
Oh,
what do you put on a hot dog then?
Oh, no. Mustard. Only mustard. No.
Mustard,
Mustard,
no
onion, tomato, hot peppers, Yeah, never ketchup. No.
Anything but ketchup.
I mean, that's like cheering for the other team. You just can't do. Yeah, I can't do that. Can't do that. All right, if you had to swap lives with a cartoon character, who would you want to be?
Ooh. Barney Rubble?
Yeah?
I already have the look.
Is it the outfit that got you? Was it the yeah. The tattered, I'm trying to think what Barney wore. Fred always wore the one like with the little diamonds in it, right? Like the orange with the diamonds. Yeah. What color did Barney wear? I don't even remember.
I don't know. We'll have to Google it after.
Isn't that terrible? All right. I see a good costume for you in this Halloween.
Right.
He wore brown? Okay, excellent.
Thank
Julie
you.
in the background is telling us he wore brown. So, all right, fair enough. 3 apps you can keep on your phone forever, and that's it. What 3 do you pick?
Ooh. I would probably have to say my hockey app. LinkedIn, because I do a lot of my business on LinkedIn. And I like Instagram, the Reels. I know it's not good for you, but there are times where I will scroll and just watch stupid stuff.
Okay.
So probably that's great.
Listen, you gave everybody that as a prescription, so it's good medical advice at this point.
Right.
Is the Instagram Reels. Okay. 2 more questions. Second to last, if you could create your own holiday, what would we celebrate and what day of the year would that be on?
If I had my own holiday, it would be on my birthday, January 15th. And I think it would be like a friends and family day where everybody gets the day off. And whether you're going to the lake or a picnic or a hike or watching a movie, but just nothing to do but hang out with the people that you love.
Oh my gosh. I think that's so fantastic. So I have to tell you, we have the secret hidden agenda that we're going to create a calendar of everybody's favorite holidays. And because that idea is not unique, people are going to get a lot of days off when we implement this. A lot, which is probably a good thing because we're definitely overworking. Greg, last but certainly not least, what is your favorite thing about doing the podcast today?
Laughing with friends. I mean, we've known each other for about probably 6-8 weeks now, but it's always good. You sent me your book, which I'm reading through, but it's the thing that I like most about this is having a conversation with someone who gets me, who I get them, I trust them, and just knowing that if one person listening to this podcast goes, you know what, I think I need to be happier, or I think I might need to go to therapy, or I might just need to reach out to Cindy or Greg and saying, hey, I'm struggling. That's what makes me happy about this.
I love this. How can everybody follow you, find you, get a hold of you? I'm going to do that in English. Work with you, hire you. Like, give us the deets on how to find Greg Kettner.
Probably the easiest, just my website, gregkettner.com, or LinkedIn. But all social media is gregkettner.com. Or if you just hashtag WorkHappy, you'll find me there as well.
I love this, Greg. So if you are more interested in the happiness work that we are doing here on the podcast and in my world, please check us out at drscindyspeaks.com. There you can subscribe to our newsletter. We call it the Not So Daily Dose because we don't bombard you every single day. You can always opt out if you want to, but we hope that you will opt into our little piece of happiness in our world. And please check out our book. Look, all of a sudden you helped me co-write the book, Greg.
Perfect. I did not know that. I'm now an author.
Listen, we'll just write your name at the bottom in a Sharpie and call it a day. So Positively Altered, Finding Happiness at the Bottom of a Chemo Bag, now written by yours truly and Greg Kettner as my co-author. Grab a Sharpie this afternoon, pencil him in, right? Which makes no sense because I just told you to use a Sharpie. I'm telling you, Greg, we've been recording a little too long because my span. Yeah. But in all seriousness, you are absolutely fantastic. I will tell you, I love to work happy. Oh, it's a beautiful place to be. And for any of you, if you're not quite there, take the couple steps that Greg suggested, reach out to a friend. We're also here to support you at any time that you need. We'll make sure in the show notes, you know how to reach both Greg and myself at any time. It's a mission, 1 million people. I'm going to double down on that, Greg. I'm going to help you get to 2.
Everybody can join in.
Everybody can join in. I hope today's episode has left all of you positively altered.